Hello, this is Ted Kane, National Director of Client Support with OneCommand. I want to talk to you today about some recent best practices I've seen in the service drive. First off, we need to make sure that our advisors are meeting and greeting our incoming staff promptly and quickly. Anytime a client pulls into your service drive and needs to wait longer than 1 or 2 minutes, they feel like they're not being paid enough attention to. They have expectations they want to be met. Secondly, we need to make sure that our advisors are getting out from behind our desk and doing a walk around. There's no better way to identify areas of concern than by actually pointing them out to the consumer themselves. It also opens up the dealership to identifying damage on a vehicle they don't want to get blamed for later. If you're sitting behind a desk and you just ask a client, well, what do you need today? They're going to say, I just need an oil change, and you're not going to be able to sell any additional work right in the service drive. It will help build that trust. Secondly, we need to talk about making sure you're doing the correct mileage in and out on a vehicle. I've recently noticed some meetings between some OEMs and their dealership staff along with DPSMs, and they talk about how many people are consistently having ROs with the same in and out mileage, even when there's a drivability concern. If something comes down to where you've got a service issue with a client that they feel like their concerns are not being met, or you've had 2, 3, 4 different service visits for the same repair, and you consistently show the same mileage in and out, are you really driving a vehicle? If you had to go down to the court of law, if something that's a drivability concern and you show the same mileage, did you really drive the vehicle? Chances are the courts are going to say, maybe you didn't. We need to make sure we're reviewing all the information in your DMS when the client is at write-up. You may have some missing information, cell phone numbers, work numbers, maybe an email address. It's the best way to do a client search in your DMS. Pull up that existing client record and update the one so you don't have multiples within your DMS. Next, once you have the RO written up, please make sure that you have the client sign their customer copy. They have to go through and review all their concerns they've identified to you, and if they don't sign that copy, you open yourself up to later down the road saying, well, I told the dealer that I needed this done, or it wasn't driving right, or it wasn't shifting right. And if it's not listed on your RO, again, in a court of law, you make sure that, geez, I don't know if I actually had that discussion with the client or not. Please make sure you have the client sign after they reviewed what work needs to be done. I hope all of you are using a multi-point inspection form. Every OEM supplies you with a form that you can use. It doesn't matter if you're an import dealer or domestic dealer. You all have an inspection form you can use during the conversation with the client. Continually, when you have a new vehicle, if you have a lot of green that's always been shown to the customer, all you have done for all those times of service visits, you've built trust. So what happens when you finally have a yellow or a red note? They remember all those times where you've shown them green that they didn't need any additional service work done, and above what they brought their car in for. It's really important to make sure you do this each and every visit. I was just in a dealer meeting with about 35 dealers, and when the question was asked, how many of you are using a multi-point inspection on every service visit, not 100% of the hands went up. And I would almost bet that 75% of those that did go up probably had some doubt in their mind, are they doing it each and every time? It's a best practice. Make sure you're using that multi-point inspection form every visit. All you're going to do is build trust with that client. I recently heard a statistic that all of the independents that surround your dealership may offer a $19.95 or $24.95 oil change. The average dollars per RO at a quick lane, some sort of an independent that offers a cheap oil change, is $105 an RO on a $24.95 offer. They have people that are going through and selling service just by doing an inspection form and following their program. Your advisors with your training should be doing even more than that. Make sure you're maximizing the amount of dollars per RO each time a client enters your service drive. However, if they don't need work, you're just building trust for that next visit. When you get done with the client, make sure you review all the work that was performed. Hopefully you understand all their objections they had. Review any recommendations they declined. At that point, I hope the advisors are asking for an appointment to set up to review or set another appointment to handle any repairs that were declined. Maybe the client needs to think about how they're going to pay for that, and they need a couple days to digest it. We can set up an appointment for 7 to 10 days down the road when they can figure out how they want to justify the expense. And make sure, hopefully, when you're closing RO, set that next appointment to have them keep coming back. It makes more sense to always set that next interval for an appointment when the customer is there in front of you, whether it be 3 months down the road, 5 months down the road, whatever it might be. Please set that appointment. I hope some of these service drive best practices seem pretty simple. However, they're probably not done 100% of the time on 100% of the clients coming into your service drive. If you have any questions or comments, my information, my contact information is listed here on the screen. Please let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you out any way I can. Thanks, and I hope you have a great day.